You're hearing the story now. That man saw it happening. Chopper 10 shows I-64 in Newport News just after 7 a.m. Warren Bills and Pat Patrick both died when their tow trucks collided on the side of the road. Jason Marks kicks off our team coverage. Jason, you talked to the man who witnessed the accident.
Yeah, Tom, he was right there when the crash happened. He says he actually saw one of those tow trucks flipping. He, along with others, tried to help save both drivers, but it was too late.
It's bedtime for Severin Holloway.
Bam.
One last story.
Good night to the bunny and the bread that he bakes.
For the almost 2-year-old.
Yeah, night, night, Mom.
For him and his dad, it was a day full of stories.
It looked like what you would see in Hollywood. I don't like. It's a cliche, but that's all I could say about that.
Don Holloway was on his way to work at Langley Air Force Base. Severin was in the back seat.
I'm just driving down and just happened to see in the corner of my eye just all this debris, smoke.
Holloway was one of the first on the scene after this crash involving 2 tow trucks on Interstate 64. He uses this remote to illustrate what he saw.
The flatbed tow truck was just airborne. And it's actually, slow motion. I know it's a cliche, but it was just in slow motion and going across.
Holloway, along with several other witnesses, did what they could to help.
I went back to the truck, and a lot of the Army guys went over to the truck, and we're trying to find a way to open up the doors, just trying to get into it.
They soon learned the drivers of both tow trucks were dead. Holloway said it was a gruesome scene, one that tied up traffic for hours.
I wish there would have been something that we could have done for the drivers.
State police say it appears one tow truck was on the shoulder, helping a stranded driver, when the other tow truck ran into the back.
It's pretty messed up.
Holloway says it was a day he'll never forget. A day when time felt like it was standing still.
Love your families. I mean, yeah, these guys went to work. I mean, these guys were just going to work, or it was the end of their day, and now they're gone.
Yeah, just the tragic story here. State police tell us tonight they're still investigating the cause of the crash. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
And the families of those 2 men told us that both would have given the shirts off their backs for someone in need. Tonight, Andy Fox shows us how much they'll be missed.
2 tow truck drivers, Warren Bills, who loved to ride Harleys, and Pat Patrick, who loved to build, fix, and race cars at Langley with his sons. 2 tow truck drivers who knew each other had a deadly collision. For reasons unknown, Patrick slammed into Bills while Bills was loading a car. Daryl Snyder knew both Patrick and Bills.
I've known that family for a long time. Wonderful people, every one of them. And Pat was like Warren. He would give you the shirt off his back also.
2 guys so alike. They both loved their families and their grandchildren. Patrick's son, John.
He was a good man, a great father, great grandfather.
Robert Christner hired Patrick back in 1976. They were best friends ever since.
This is the saddest day of my life. I think losing a friend like this. He was my best friend, and if you ever had a best friend, it was Pat.
The sound of Harleys resonated through Bill's neighborhood. His friends had come home to let his family know they were near. Bill's family, too devastated to talk, Snyder, the faithful friend, spoke for them.
He was tough. He was tough. Not much stuck to Warren. He took a lot of things with a grain of salt. I mean, he loved his motorcycles. He loved, the open air. Well, like I said, the only other thing I can think of that he loved more than that was his kids and his grandkids.
No one knows why Patrick lost control of the tow truck this morning. The family thinks a medical condition may be the reason. Patrick had a heart transplant 8 years ago. His son, Doug.
I'm real sorry. We both lost a good man. It was a tragic accident.
I'm Andy Fox, Fox 43 News.
You heard Andy talking about that heart transplant there, and state troopers say that Patrick may have had that medical condition behind the wheel, and they believe that could have caused him to crash. But investigators are waiting on a medical examiner's report to make that determination.